The price is $200, but the button says $50 today. That second number changes the decision. A moment ago, the purchase felt expensive. Now it feels manageable. $50 fits inside tonight. The other $150 seems to belong to a future version of you who will exist over the next 6 weeks. Nothing about the product changed. Nothing about your income changed. The total price did not move by a cent. Only the shape of the cost changed. And that is the central trick behind Buy Now, Pay Later. Your brain can understand the full price while emotionally responding to the first installment. The trap is not that $200 becomes $50. The trap is that $50 becomes louder than $200. The item is vivid. You can picture opening the box, wearing it tomorrow, placing it in your home, or watching someone notice it. The later payments are faint. They are dates on a calendar that has not happened yet, mixed with paychecks that have not arrived and expenses you cannot currently see. The reward is standing in front of you. The sacrifice has been broken into pieces and moved out of the room. This is sometimes called price partitioning. In plain English, one large cost is divided into smaller numbers, and each number feels easier to carry than the whole. The arithmetic is still available. You could multiply 50 by 4, but buying is not only arithmetic. It is a conflict between what feels real now and what must be imagined later. When you consider giving up money, brain systems involved in anticipating loss and unpleasant outcomes can become active. Researchers linked insular activity with reactions to prices that feel too costly. Buy Now, Pay Later does not switch this system off, but it can weaken the immediate sense of loss by separating the reward from most of the payment. Research on installment displays has found that showing a smaller payment can reduce how expensive a product feels, even when the total remains visible. A smaller first installment can also make people more willing to spend. The numbers are not hidden. Their psychological weight is rearranged. That rearrangement matters because your sense of cost did not evolve as a silent spreadsheet. To understand why, imagine standing in a prehistoric forest, exhausted and hungry when you find a patch of ripe fruit. In an uncertain environment, an available resource could carry more weight than a future resource that might disappear. But ancient people also planned, stored food, shared resources, and worked toward delayed rewards. Many costs were difficult to separate from the senses. The loss had weight. It occupied space. If you gave away stored food, the container became lighter. If you spent a day making a tool, the cost was measured in tired muscles. The cost often became visible near the decision that caused it. Modern payment systems break that connection. The product enters your life today. Most of the sacrifice leaves your account later. No basket empties in front of you. No physical pile becomes smaller. The purchase feels complete while the payment remains unfinished. Psychologists sometimes call this decoupling. The pleasure of receiving and the discomfort of paying no longer arrive together. Cash creates a strong connection. You hand something over and watch it disappear. A credit card delays the payment. Buy Now, Pay Later can divide it, delay most of it, and place the smallest piece beside the button at the exact moment desire is strongest. That is why the option can feel less like borrowing and more like a different price. 4 payments of $50 look clean, predictable, controlled. They may even feel more responsible than putting $200 on a credit card, and sometimes they are manageable. An interest-free installment plan is not automatically harmful. The danger begins when payment structure is mistaken for affordability. A neat schedule does not create more income. It assigns future income before that income arrives. Your brain is especially vulnerable to this because immediate rewards and future costs do not feel equally important. This tendency is called temporal discounting. It means that events farther away often carry less emotional weight than events happening now. Human decision-making developed as a compromise. The problem is that a modern checkout can place the reward entirely in the present and push the sacrifice into a future your attention naturally treats as less urgent. Research on future self-continuity suggests that the person you will become months from now can feel less vivid and emotionally connected than the person making the decision today. The weaker that connection feels, the easier it becomes to accept a reward now and pass the cost forward. The interface does not need to erase the cost. It only needs to make the cost feel quieter than the desire. Then a second mechanism appears. You do not usually make every purchase while looking at one complete map of your future obligations. You see one product, one store, and one small installment at a time. $20 for shoes, $18 for a kitchen appliance, $25 for a birthday gift, $32 for a flight upgrade. Each decision arrives alone. Your bank account receives them as a group. This is mental accounting. It means your brain sorts money into informal categories instead of continuously calculating one complete financial picture. Rent belongs in one box. Food belongs in another. A $50 installment may feel like a separate temporary commitment. Each box can look harmless. Then several harmless boxes begin withdrawing money from the same paycheck. A behavioral experiment published by the Central Bank of Ireland found that participants using an installment option spent more than participants using debit. More revealingly, people who had used installments in earlier shopping rounds became more likely to buy another discretionary item later. The first purchase did not only change what they owed, it changed what the next purchase felt affordable. That is the deeper trap. Deferred payment can preserve the visual appearance of available money after part of that money has already been promised away. Your banking app may still show a balance of $800, but some of that balance already belongs to the shoes, the appliance, the gift, and the upgrade. The number on the screen looks like present freedom. In reality, part of it is occupied by the past. You begin paying for objects after their emotional value has faded, the package has been opened, the clothes have already been worn, the device is no longer new. But every 2 weeks, the purchase returns as a withdrawal. The reward happened once. The cost keeps arriving. Consumer data collected by the United States Consumer Financial Protection Bureau shows how easily these promises can overlap. In its analysis, roughly 6 in 10 borrowers held multiple simultaneous buy now, pay later loans at some point during the year. That does not mean every borrower was in crisis. It does show why the danger can be difficult to feel at checkout. There is a moving web of small claims on money that still appears available. One payment leaves on Tuesday, another arrives on Friday. A third is waiting after payday. The discomfort is spread across different dates, stores, and apps. The purchase screen presents each promise separately. Life collects them together. That is why knowing the math may not be enough. You can understand multiplication. You can know the due dates. Knowledge still has to compete with presentation. The product is large, detailed, and immediate. The first payment is small. Approval is fast. The future is quiet. The entire environment is organized around helping desire finish the decision before the full sacrifice becomes emotionally real. This does not require a hidden conspiracy. Retailers benefit when hesitation turns into a sale. A system rewarded for making purchases feel easier will naturally become very good at removing the moments when you might stop. Your resistance is not fighting one persuasive sentence, it is fighting an architecture. That is why relying on willpower at checkout often fails. Checkout is where the product is most vivid, the installment is smallest, and the future is hardest to feel. The countermove has to happen before that moment. When you feel the magnetic pull of a divided payment, close the application for 48 hours. You do not have to say no. You simply have to drag the decision out of an environment designed to make yes feel effortless. After 48 hours, the product is usually less vivid. The urgency has weakened. You can see the plan for what it is, not a smaller price, but a claim on 4 different versions of your future income. Return to the glowing checkout page. The total is still $200. The button still says $50 today, but the number now looks different. It is not the price. It is the entrance fee to an unfinished transaction. The product is shown as a complete reward. The sacrifice is shown in fragments. That is why the offer can feel easier than it really is, even when you understand every number on the screen. You were not defeated by bad arithmetic. You were shown the present in full detail and the future in pieces. You were never broken. The price was designed to disappear before the cost arrived.